I'd like to have a look at that photograph now, Inspector. All in good time. I don't see why. You heard what I said, Mr. Croft. One line of inquiry at a time, otherwise we'll all be talking at once and won't know where we are. If you've anything to tell me, you'll have an opportunity of doing so. Well, I don't suppose I have. Look here! We've had enough of this! I dare say. I'm sorry. But you see, we were having a little party, and I've had a few drinks, including rather a lot of champagne, and I've got a headache, and as I'm only in the way here, I think I'd better turn in. And I think you'd better stay here. Why should I? It might be less trouble. If you turn in, you might have to turn out again soon. Getting a bit heavy-handed, aren't you, Inspector? Possibly. But you see, if you're easy with me, I'm easy with you. After all, you know, we're respectable citizens, not criminals. Sometimes there isn't as much difference as you think. Often, if it was left to me, I wouldn't know where to draw the line. Fortunately, it isn't left to you, is it? No, it isn't. But some things are left to me. Inquiries of this sort, for instance. And Sheila, who looks as if she's been crying. Well, Miss Burling, you knew it was me all the time, didn't you? I had an idea it might be, from something the girl herself wrote. I told my father, who didn't seem to think that it amounted to much. I felt rotten about it at the time, and now I feel a lot worse. Did it make much difference to her? Yes, I'm afraid it did. It was the last real steady job she had. When she lost it, for no reason that she could discover, she decided that she might well try another kind of life. So I'm really responsible? No, not entirely. A good deal happened to her after that, but you are partly to blame, just as your father is. What did Sheila do? I went to the manager at Millwoods, and I told him that if they didn't get rid of that girl, I'd never go near the place again, and I'd persuade Mother to close her account with them. And why did you do that? Because I was in a furious temper. And what had this girl done to make you lose your temper? When I was looking at myself in the mirror, I caught sight of her smiling at the assistant, and I was furious with her. I'd been in a bad temper anyhow. And was it the girl's fault? No, not really. It was my own fault. All right, Gerald, you needn't look at me like that. At least I'm trying to tell the truth. I expect you've done things you're ashamed of, too. I never said I hadn't. I don't see why. Never mind. about that. You can settle that between yourselves afterwards. What happened? I'd gone in to try something on. It was an idea of my own. Mother had been against it, and so had the assistant, but I'd insisted. As soon as I tried it on, I knew they'd been right. It just didn't suit me at all. I looked silly in the thing. Well, this girl had brought the dress up from the workroom, and when the assistant, Miss Frances, had asked her something about it, this girl, to show us what she meant, had held the dress up as if she were wearing it, and it just suited her. She was the right type for it, just as I was the wrong type. And she was very pretty too, with big dark eyes, and that didn't make it any better. Well, when I tried the thing on and looked at myself, I knew it was all wrong. I caught sight of this girl smiling at Miss Frances as if to say, "Doesn't she look awful?" And I was absolutely furious. I was very rude to both of them. And then I went to the manager and told him that this girl had been very impertinent and how could I know what would happen afterwards? If she'd just been some miserable, plain little creature, I don't suppose I'd have done it. But she was very pretty and looked as if she could take care of herself, and I couldn't be sorry for her. In fact, in a kind of way, you might have been said to have been jealous of her. Yes, I suppose so. So you used the power that you had as the daughter of a good customer and also a man well known in the town to punish the girl just because she made you feel like that? Yes. But it didn't seem to be anything very terrible at the time. Don't you understand? If I could help her now, I would. Yes, but you can't, because it's too late. She's dead. Oh my God, it's a bit thick when you come to think of it. Oh, shut up, Eric. I know it's the only time I've ever done anything like that, and I'll never do it again to anybody. I've noticed them giving me a sort of look sometimes at Milwards. I noticed it even this afternoon. I suppose some of them remember. I feel now I can never go in there again. Oh, why had this to happen? That's what I asked myself tonight when I was looking at the dead girl. And then I said to myself, well, we'll try and understand why it had to happen. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm not going until I know all that happened. Eva Smith lost her job with Burling and Company because of a strike failed, and they were determined not to have another one. And at last she found another job, under what name, I don't know, in a big shop, and had to leave there because you were annoyed with yourself and passed on the annoyance on to her. Now she had to try something else. So first she changed her name to Daisy Renton. What? I said. She changed her name to Daisy Renton. Do you mind if I get myself a drink, Sheila? Sheila merely nods, stares at the sideboard. Where's your father, Miss Burling? He went into the drawing room to tell my mother what was happening here. Eric, take the inspector to the drawing room. Why, Gerald? What, Sheila? How did you come to know this girl, Eva Smith? I didn't. Daisy Renton then. It's the same thing. Why should I have known her? Don't be stupid. We haven't much time. You gave yourself away as soon as he mentioned her other name. All right, I knew her. Let's just leave it at that. We can't leave it at that. Now listen, darling. No, it's no use. Not only you knew her, but you knew her very well. Otherwise you wouldn't look so guilty about it. When did you first get to know her? Was it after she left Millward? When she changed her name, as he said, and began to lead a different sort of life? Were you seeing her last spring and summer during that time when you hardly came near me and you said you were so busy? Were you? Oh, of course you were. I'm sorry, Sheila. It was all over and done with last summer. I hadn't set eyes on the girl for at least 6 months. I don't come into this suicide business. I thought I didn't half an hour ago. You don't. Neither of us does. So for God's sake, don't say anything to the inspector. About you and this girl? Yes, we can keep it from him. You fool! He knows! Of course he knows! And I hate to think how much he knows that we don't know yet. You'll see. You'll see! Well,